In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing and going over and kind of giving you a summary of the 4 diets that can cure your eczema. So just to give you some reference to where these 4 diets come from, these 4 diets are basically a meta-analysis of the 4 diets that have worked best for my clients over the past almost 7 years. I've worked with over 900 eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, and rosacea clients, specifically focusing on helping them with their diet and their lifestyle to cure their skin disease. These 4 diets come from that block of people. Also, this kind of comes from my own experience with the vegan diet, the paleo diet, the keto diet, the carnivore diet, and the traditional diet that I'm kind of currently on. All right, for organization's sake, I'm gonna start with the diet that most of my clients are using, that the majority of them are having the most success on. So that's where I'm gonna start. And just a little bit more context. All of my clients go through the 3 phases of skin disease reversal based on the 3 phases workbook. Phase 1 is a cleansing phase, and phase 2 is the phase where you actually find out by reading your body's biomarkers which diet will work best for you as an individual. Now, the number 1 diet after people have gone through phase 1 and phase 2 and are in the nourishing phase, and that's the phase where you're focusing on your customized diet and you're refining it and making it really perfect for yourself, it's what I would call a primal paleo or traditional diet. This is kind of the current diet that I'm also on and playing with. Here's what it looks like. It is a fat-based and protein-based diet. You can eat as much vegetables and fiber as you want, and you can eat a little bit of fruit. The way I do it is I eat a little bit of berries, I eat some starchy vegetables, and I eat some leafy greens every day. And then I focus on the ultra nourishing foods like egg yolks, salmon, and things like that. The basics of this diet is you keep your grams of carbs under 100. You eat all whole foods, and you focus on eating the healthy fats and proteins that work best for you, and avoid the plethora of plant foods that might not, and stick to the plants that work really well for you. So that's kind of the primal paleo approach. If you'd like more information on that, leave a comment or something down below. Also, I have many videos explaining this approach, especially in my last bunch of videos. So that is the number 1 diet so far out of my 6 years of, almost 7 years of coaching people. That's the number 1 diet that is for phase 3, the nourishing phase that people are having a lot of amazing success on. The second approach that's working really awesome is along the same lines of that, but it's a little bit more focused on fats. So the keto and the carnivore, or even a paleo diet that's ultra high fat. So we're talking about diets that make you fat adapted and the diets that bring you into ketosis or keep you around ketosis. The basics of how to do this diet is you focus on eating fats and proteins. A lot of people do keto, they'll eat a lot of vegetables and they'll eat a lot of junk foods and a lot of nuts and avocados. I don't recommend doing it that way. I recommend doing keto more of a carnivore style, so where you're eating mostly animal foods, but you're using strategically the right plant foods to give you the right amount of fiber to aid the digestion and to just make the gut biome really healthy, but to keep you in deep ketosis. Generally, 30 grams of carbs or 40 grams of carbs for some people or under is where you'll need to be to stay in ketosis, to really reap the benefits of that diet that is working well for a lot of my clients. Okay, moving on. Diet number 3. Diet number 3 is kind of a hybrid diet. It comes from and is designed for people who were plant-based or vegan in their past and have gone through phase 1, vegan, catabolic, really cleansing and detoxing, and they find in phase 2 that their body actually does work well with a higher amount of carbs. If that's you, awesome. The main guidelines that are working for my current clients and the people that are having success with this is basically 2 things. Keep your fat percentage under 20% and make sure you're not eating too much raw vegetables. Here's the thing, and fruit. Here's the thing with the high carb, low fat approach that works best for my clients. Those who were vegan and plant-based who stay on it long term add in things like salmon, eggs, an occasional steak, and some very well thought out animal products that work well for them to give them a more well-rounded nutrient approach. And that's like the main thing for my long-term vegan clients and high-carb, low-fat, plant-based clients is they end up long-term losing so much weight and not liking it. It kind of happens across the board. When that happens, they get to a point where they want to add healthy weight and they want to just feel a little bit better. They can still keep their overall diet plant-based, but by adding these animal foods, it really makes a huge difference. And that's the third most popular healing diet for my clients and the people I work with. So just a review, and as you can see, the first two diets that are like really helping the most people are animal-based and they're fat-based, but they do utilize vegetables and fruit. This is a high-carb diet. So you have your high-fat, 1 and 2, and then starting with number 3. This is the hybrid approach for the third diet that works for people. It's basically a high-carb, low-fat diet plus adding in the healthy animal foods. Some of you have asked me to go into more detail about that. If you want me to do a full-length video on how to go from vegan or high-carb, low-fat to adding animal foods, but while staying under 20% fat so that you're still high carb and plant-based. If you guys want the details and a program protocol based around that, let me know in the comment section. I'd be happy to make a video focusing on that. All right, and number 4 is a plant-based diet, but I will say this. As the years go by, less and less of my clients are fully vegan and fully plant-based, because for most of them, it worked really good for a year or 2 years, for some people even 3, for some people even 5 years. But I've worked with certain clients for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, even 8 years for some people. And one pattern that I see with many of them is they eat a very perfect, healthy, whole food-based diet, one that resembles what Dr. Greger would call a perfect diet. And after enough years go by, they just start to get too lean and have some malnourishment issues. Same thing that happened to me. I'm not here to say that that's gonna happen to everyone on a vegan diet, because there's a lot of examples out there of people that are thriving. If you're thriving on a vegan diet, awesome, stick with it. If you're thriving on any of these diets, awesome, stick with it. But pay attention to your biomarkers, and if your biomarkers start to dip, don't be afraid to make a little adjustment or a big adjustment if it's needed. With the vegan approach, here's what I've seen work best for veganism and high carb, low fatism and plant-basedism with my long-term and short-term clients. The people who suffer and don't do well on the vegan diet, it's because they're eating a high-fat vegan approach, or they think that raw veganism will save the world. And it won't. For most people, the raw vegan approach is just a cycle of malnourishment and over-sugaring your body. For most people, a short block of very focused and choosing the right foods, high carb, low fat, vegan, raw, maybe a month, maybe 2 at the very most, can do some people and a lot of people, do people good, get people started in the right direction. A lot of my clients start out that way. But how long do you want to stay on that? And how long are you going to feel good doing that? It's up to you. The way to have success, the way I was able to have 8 years of awesome health and success on a vegan diet, was to focus on eating the foods that tasted good, that my body responded well to, and keeping things ultra simple. I would do fruit and potatoes and salads and green juice for days and days and days and days. Very simple, keep it whole, and avoid the plant foods that are triggers, because there's a lot of hidden trigger foods out there in the plant kingdom, and I'm guessing that's why it's 4th on my healing list for the data from my clients. So those are the 4 diets that have been the most successful for curing and healing eczema in the over 900 clients that I've worked with over time. The amount of clients that are using diet 1 and 2 and having success compared to the amount of clients I have who've had success over time and currently on diets 3 and 4. It's about 75 to 80% are doing better and have used diets 1 and 2 to cure and heal themselves. So that's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Leave all of your comments and questions down below. If you're looking to get a hold of me to become one of my private clients, a link in the description box for that. Also, you can find me on Instagram. There I'm Stewart, Rob Stewart. In real life, I'm just Rob Stewart. Remember to subscribe. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share. And remember to like it. So here's my end of the video ramble. So these 4 diets, some people have said, wow, that's really shifted for you over the years. And it certainly has. One of the reasons that it's shifted is that I mentioned in the video is that in the beginning of my career doing this, and when I started doing this full time was about 6 years ago, most of my focus was on catabolic diet, cleansing, and detoxification. So we started a big group of people on that route and we had a lot of success. And then a few years went by and those people's success started shifting and changing. So we had to make new protocols and new programs and open up to new things. Same thing happened to me where my diet that worked so well wasn't the same the whole time. It was constantly refining, it was constantly shifting. My macros were going here and there. I was doing some experimenting. And when it came time for me to switch because my biomarkers were suffering, I made a switch. So what I'm saying is I don't have an emotional attachment or influence to any of these diets. I'm not getting paid to promote any of these diets. I'm not a part of the vegan world. I'm not a part of the carnivore world. I'm just here to help people cure eczema, period. That's all I want to do. That's all that I do every day, 7 days a week. So take this video with a grain of salt, if you will. You know where I come from. You know where I'm at. Of course, I help people in a reflective way of how I healed myself, but it's never based on how I healed myself. It's always custom. It's always based on their needs. I'm very open-minded, despite people thinking that because I was vegan and used to defend my vegan protocols with vigor when they were attacked, that I'm closed-minded or that I have an agenda. And I want to make it ultra clear that I do have an agenda, and it's to help you guys get healthy skin. But my agenda is never to push any diet, because the honest truth is this, and I'm going to end the video after I say this because this is the most honest thing that I could ever say. The type of people I think that are attracted to watching these videos and that hire me to work with them one-on-one as a coach, and that I personally enjoy being around, and an attribute of myself that I see reflected in you guys all the time, is that if you would have asked me when I was full body blown eczema dermatitis, or if you were to ask me this question now, Rob, to cure your skin and to have the ultimate level of health, basically like the fountain of youth for eczema, you have to eat donkey crap. 1 pound of it every single day. You have to. But if you do, you will have the unlimited abundance of perfect health and you will live a beautiful long life. I would probably do it, no problem. I would pretty much have done anything discipline-wise, diet-wise, protocol-wise. If someone would have said to me 10 years ago, Rob, you have to run 20 miles every day. And if you do that, it's going to be really hard on your body, but you will have perfect skin and you will have perfect health. Guess what? I would be a skinny marathon runner because I'd be running 20 miles every single day. I would probably have my knees fall off, but that's how it'd be. I think you guys are the same way. So if you are that way and you're stuck emotionally attached to one of these diets because you want to be a part of a community or you see it popularized on YouTube, take a step back and do what's best for you. Eat the food that your body needs. That's what phase 2 is for. I'm out. Bye.